Across the developing world, water and sanitation challenges continue to wreak havoc on communities. Today, climate change magnifies these struggles from dense urban settlements, peri-urban fringes, and rural areas. Most starkly is arid and semi-arid lands, where wash, climate change, and conflict converge. Here in Isiolo County, northern Kenya, Merti, as sub-county headquarters, stands at the center of this crisis. Once a thriving pastoral hub, sustained by the permanent flow of the Ewaso Nyiro River, today it finds itself fighting for survival. As Merti grows, so do its struggles. Increasing population places immense pressure on a dwindling water supply. The Ewaso Nyiro, once a lifeline, is now seasonal. Boreholes along the riverbanks, once dependable, lie submerged or destroyed by floods. Of the 7 drilled boreholes, only 2 remain operational. Climate change is reshaping lives here. Flash floods alter the course of rivers, sweeping away vital infrastructure of water and sanitation. Water levels drop alarmingly, while strong winds destroy fragile systems like solar panels powering the boreholes. The people of Merti find themselves trapped between drought and deluge.
Scarcity breeds conflict. Communities clash over the few remaining boreholes. Of the 12 strategic boreholes, only 5 are functional. Hunters have forcibly pushed Merti residents away from several. These struggles often turn deadly. Widows return to town with no income, while the youth, frustrated and hopeless, turn to drugs and crime. Water scarcity here is not an environmental crisis, but a human one.
Water is a scarce commodity in arid and semi-arid areas. In our case study of Merti, the community has adapted different strategies to be able to maximize and utilize the scarce resource that they are sharing with animals for household use, as well as for their agricultural production. First of all, they have protected their well through the wall that is built here to protect it from climate conditions like flooding, as we can see the gabions, as well as the wind. But more so, the issues of food insecurity is also a big issue in arid and semi-arid areas. And in the case behind me, there is a vegetable farm. They are utilizing a flooding solution or technology to be able to maximize their water use. But as we can see, the coverage is small, and there is need for innovative solutions to maximize the water use as well as maximize the production of farming to benefit this community, which is mostly a pastoralist community. But we can see the potential of farming and agriculture when we have better solutions. So we advocate for better water solutions, for more productive water solutions in this case.
Madenge, once introduced to fight deforestation, has become a curse. It consumes vast amounts of water, depleting aquifers, while choking out native vegetation. Its thorns injure humans and livestock. Blocking access to the river creates hiding grounds for wild animals, more so hyenas. For many, Madenge is now as deadly as drought.
As water challenges mount, sanitation systems crumble. Merti depends on pit latrines, which are fragile and easily destroyed by floods. The rains come, toilets fill and collapse, spilling waste into streets where children play. Schools are left without facilities. In Manyatas, home to over 100 households, open defecation remains the only option. Women, often forced into the Mathenge thickets, face grave risks, from injuries to attacks by hyenas. Menstrual hygiene management becomes an impossible task.
So we are in an ASAL public school, and what we see here is strong attempts to offer sanitation. And in the first instance, what we see are pits that are well lined, that are lined to help offer sustainable sanitation, but they are collapsing into themselves and forcing the institution to relocate the pits into another place. This now makes the cost high, and we'll be looking at other attempts that have been made to try and mitigate this. Pits are sunk, they are lined well, a superstructure is put, but after some time they collapse into themselves, posing a danger not only to the health but also to the safety of those who are using them. And there is a very good effort to offer sanitation services with a serious infrastructure, complete with a superstructure and the substructure. But what we see here is that owing to the changes in climate and other flooding, the superstructure and the substructure have already collapsed. The effort to offer sanitation to these young ones is thwarted by the vagaries of the weather and the climate, leading to, in fact, apathy, which could result in now open defecation in otherwise people that were already transitioned and over a long period of time using very sustainable sanitation infrastructure. Thank you. And in an attempt to try and circumvent the problem of flooding, the institution trying to relocate the toilets into the highest possible ground within the compound. But it happens to be 200 meters from where the pupil are. And what is the implication here is that there is 200 meters to cover. But what we see here is that still the elements of weather and climate have caught up with the institution. Flooding still got to the toilets at the highest point within the facility, and the facilities that have been put up here have started to crumble. They are trying to make a lighter one. We hope it will hold, but it seems like the battle against the climate and climate change is taking the toll and carrying the day in sanitation provision within this region.
Yet, amid the struggles, resilience endures. Communities have built gabions and protective walls around boreholes. Solar panel systems promise sustainable pumping. Innovative sanitation models like pour flush toilets connected to septic tanks offer glimpses of change. The people of Merti are determined not just to survive, but to adapt.
As climate change continues to wreak havoc within this county, the struggle for the scarce resources continues to intensify. This is a makeshift here owned by a part of this community, the Borano community. These people, whereas they continued to enjoy resourceful life from the places where they lived, now they live here in a makeshift place where scarcity for these resources is really major. These people were displaced from 12 kilometers away from here, where they had boreholes and semi-permanent buildings where they continued to enjoy their lives. In fight for the resource, the scarce resources, which is the pasture and water, raided their boreholes, taking up their grazing spaces, and now these people live here. At this particular point, these people lack basic services like water, where women have to trek around 3 kilometers from here to bring the water resources. And again, sanitation is really minimal, with everyone within this particular place practicing open defecation. It's a call for the government to bring up interventions for such people so that this place doesn't develop to unmanned refugee camp for the internally displaced persons. Thank you.
Here we are outside the academic block of primary school. The coping mechanism of this population, the resilience, is on another magnitude. After being displaced by bandits and their materials taken, this previously pastoralist community, now opting to embrace education, could not leave the school behind. They carried the school with them, at least in the mind, and in the bid to meet sanitation needs. Just 50 meters from the classroom as is prescribed. In their own means, they have put up sanitation structures with a superstructure for privacy, with a substructure well lined to protect the environment, for the separation of the male toilets and the female toilets, complete the circle of sanitation service provision.
In our case study visit of Merti sub-county, we visited primary school that is located in an area that has been a new settlement after the raids. The school the parents have made classrooms that fit the number of students that they have, 50 of them in total. They are very eager to teach. The teachers have been posted by the Teacher Service Commission. You can see their classrooms are good, and they have a blackboard and the students are okay and learning. However, the school does not have the basic facilities to support the learners in the learning. There is limited water. Around the place, the students have to go 5 kilometers to fetch water that they will use in the school. Now that gives them great challenges of cleaning their classrooms, cleaning their own bodies, and using in the toilet. The school has 2 toilets that have been built by the community, and these 2 toilets are shared by the boys and girls and the staff in here. The community would wish to have an established school that supports the population so that the girls and boys in this makeshift manyatta also receive education like students from the other parts of the country. Thank you very much.
I'm Ibrahim Kabelo. I work for Merti, that is Merti Integrated Development Program. So today we are in Merti for the monitoring visits. So this is Merti borehole, and as you see, the issue of the climate change. For since March, April, May, there was a flood destroying some of the pipes that supplies water to the town. And 2 weeks ago, this is effect of the strong winds. And this borehole has been serving more than 1,000 households. And currently, for the last 2 weeks, it's not functioning. So immediate action is required, also from different stakeholders who are supporting WASH in this county. And from the discussion that we had with the Water Management Committee, the protection is urgently required for this borehole before the October-November rain. But in these situations, it will rain, it will wash away all these infrastructures that are here. Already damage that is experiencing here is bringing loss to this infrastructure that community is owning. In Merti, one of the challenge is the flooding that has caused destruction or even displacement to some of the households. So if you look here, this is one of the boreholes that Merti community is depending for as part of the water source for the household. So it has been at risk because of the 2024 rain, but with support from GFFO through Sign of Hope, we managed to put protection wall with the gabions for this borehole. So currently it's working well and it is well protected. So the same is supposed to be done also for some of the boreholes that are at risk before the coming rain. Merti stands as a fragile crossroad
Between hope and despair.
Between life and death.
The nexus of water, sanitation, and climate change is not a distant threat. It is here now.
For Merti and for countless communities across drylands in Africa, the time for action is now.
Water, climate, sanitation. The future of Meru depends on how we respond today.